bbking. Riley B. King, the 16th of September, 1925, the 14th of May, 2015, known professionally as B.B. King, was an American blues guitarist, singer, songwriter, and record producer. He introduced a sophisticated style of soloing based on fluid string bending, shimmering vibrato, and staccato picking that influenced many later electric guitar blues players. AllMusic recognized King as the single most important electric guitarist of the last half of the 20th century. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, and is one of the most influential blues musicians of all time, earning the nickname the King of the Blues, and is referred to as one of the three kings of the blues guitar, along with Albert King and Freddie King, none of whom is related. King performed tirelessly throughout his musical career, appearing on average at more than 200 concerts a year into his 70s. In 1956 alone, he appeared at 342 shows. He was attracted to music and taught himself to play guitar, beginning his career in juke joints and on local radio. He later lived in Memphis and Chicago. Then, as his fame grew, he toured the world extensively. Early life. Riley B. King was born on the 16th of September, 1925, on a cotton plantation in Berkeley named Bear Creek in Leffler County near the city of Itta-Bena, Mississippi, the son of sharecroppers Albert and Nora Ella King. When he was 4 years old, his mother left his father for another man, so he was raised by his maternal grandmother, Elnora Farr, in Kilmichael, Mississippi, then in Lexington. As a teen, he moved to Indianola, which he referred to as his hometown, later working at a cotton gin. While young, King sang in the gospel choir at Elkhorn Baptist Church in Kilmichael. He was attracted to the Pentecostal Church of God in Christ because of its music. The local minister performed with a Sears Roebuck Silvertone guitar during services, and taught King his first 3 chords. Flake Cartledge, his employer in Kilmichael, bought him his first guitar for $15. Cartledge withheld money from King's salary for the next 2 months until he repaid the debt. In November 1941, King Biscuit Time first aired, broadcasting on KFFA in Helena, Arkansas. It was a radio show featuring the Mississippi Delta Blues. King listened to it while on break at the plantation. A self-taught guitarist, he then wanted to be a radio musician. In 1943, King left Kilmichael to work as a tractor driver and play guitar with the famous Street John's Gospel Singers of Inverness, Mississippi, performing at area churches and on WGRM in Greenwood. He served in the U.S. Army during World War II but was released after being ruled as essential to the war economy based on his experience as a tractor driver. In 1946, he followed Booker White to Memphis, Tennessee. White took him in for the next 10 months. King returned shortly afterward to Mississippi, where he better prepared himself for the next visit. 2 years later, he returned to West Memphis, Arkansas. He performed on Sonny Boy Williamson's radio program on QM in West Memphis, where he began to develop an audience. His appearances led to steady engagements at the 16th Avenue Grill in West Memphis, and later to a 10-minute spot on the Memphis radio station WDIA. The radio spot became so popular that it was expanded and became the Sepia Swing Club. He worked at WDIA as a singer and disc jockey, where he was given the nickname Beale Street Blues Boy, later shortened to Blues Boy, and finally to BB. It was there that he first met T-Bone Walker. King said, "Once I'd heard him for the first time, I knew I'd have to have an electric guitar myself. Had to have one, short of stealing." Career 1949–2005. In the late 1940s and early 1950s, King was a part of the blues scene on Beale Street. "Beale Street was where it all started for me," he said. He performed with Bobby Bland, Johnny Ace and Earl Forrest in a group known as the Beale Streeters. According to King and Joe Bahari, one of the founders of Modern Records, and its subsidiaries, Ike Turner introduced King to the Bahari Brothers while he was a talent scout for them. Before his RPM contract, King had debuted on Bullet Records by issuing the single Miss Martha King, 1949, which did not chart well. My very first recordings in 1949 were for a company out of Nashville called Bullet, the Bullet Record Transcription Company, King recalled. I had horns that very first session. I had Phineas Newborn on piano, his father played drums, and his brother, Calvin, played guitar with me. I had Tuff Green on bass, Ben Branch on tenor sax, his brother, Thomas, on trumpet, and a lady trombone player. The Newborn family were the house band at the famous Plantation Inn in West Memphis. In 1949, King began recording songs under contract with Los Angeles-based RPM Records, a subsidiary of Modern. Sam Phillips, who later founded Sun Records, produced many of King's early recordings. King assembled his band, the bbking Review, under the leadership of Millard Lee. The band initially consisted of Calvin Owens and Kenneth Sands, trumpet, Lawrence Burden, alto saxophone, George Coleman, tenor saxophone, Floyd Newman, baritone saxophone, Millard Lee, piano, George Joyner, bass, and Earl Forrest and Ted Curry, drums. King hired Onsey Horn, a trained musician, to be an arranger, and assist him with his compositions. By his admission, King could not play chords well, and always relied on improvisation. King supported his recordings by touring across the United States, with performances in major theaters in cities such as Washington, D.C., Chicago, Los Angeles, Detroit, and St. Louis, as well as numerous gigs in small clubs and juke joints in the southern United States. During one show in Twist, Arkansas, a brawl broke out between two men and caused a fire. He left the building with the rest of the crowd but ran back in to get his guitar. He said he later learned that the two men were fighting over a woman named Lucille. He named the guitar Lucille as a reminder not to fight over women or run into any more burning buildings. Following his first Billboard Rhythm and Blues charted #1, 3 O'Clock Blues, February 1952, King became one of the most important names in R&B music in the 1950s, amassing an impressive list of hits including, You Know I Love You, Woke Up This Morning, Please Love Me, When My Heart Beats Like a Hammer, Whole Lotta Love, You Upset Me Baby, Every Day I Have the Blues, Sneakin' Around, 10 Long Years, Bad Luck, Sweet Little Angel, On My Word of Honor, and Please Accept My Love. This led to a significant increase in his weekly earnings, from about $85 to $2,500, with appearances at major venues such as the Howard Theater in Washington and the Apollo in New York, as well as touring the Chitlin circuit. 1956 became a record-breaking year, with 342 concerts booked and 3 recording sessions. That same year he founded his own record label, Blues Boys Kingdom, with headquarters at Beale Street in Memphis. There, among other projects, he was a producer for artists such as Millard Lee and Levi Seabury. In 1962, King signed to ABC Paramount Records, which was later absorbed into MCA Records, which itself was later absorbed into Geffen Records. In November 1964, King recorded the Live at the Regal album at the Regal Theater. King later said that Regal Live is considered by some the best recording I've ever had. That particular day in Chicago everything came together. From the late 1960s, his new manager, Sid Seidenberg, pushed him into a different type of venue, as blues rock performers like Eric Clapton, once a member of the Yardbirds, and Cream, and Paul Butterfield were bringing blues music to appreciative white audiences. King gained further visibility among rock audiences as an opening act on the Rolling Stones' 1969 American tour. He won a Grammy Award in 1970 for his version of the song The Thrill Is Gone, which was a hit on both the pop and R&B charts. Rolling Stone magazine listed it in the number 183 spot in their 500 greatest songs of all time. King was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 1980, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, and the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame in 2014. In 2004, he was awarded the International Polar Music Prize, which is given to artists in recognition of exceptional achievements in the creation and advancement of music. From the 1980s to his death in 2015, he maintained a highly visible and active career, appearing on numerous television shows and sometimes performing 300 nights a year. In 1988, he reached a new generation of fans with the single When Love Comes to Town, a collaborative effort with the Irish band U2 on their Rattle and Hum album. In December 1997, he performed in the Vatican's 5th annual Christmas concert and presented his trademark guitar, Lucille, to Pope John Paul II. In 1998, King appeared in the Blues Brothers 2000, playing the part of the lead singer of the Louisiana Gator Boys along with Eric Clapton, Dr. John, Coco Taylor and Bo Diddley. In 2000, he and Clapton teamed up again to record Riding with the King, which won a Grammy Award for Best Traditional Blues Album. Discussing where he took the blues, from dirt floor, smoke in the air joints, to grand concert halls, King said the blues belonged everywhere beautiful music belonged. He successfully worked both sides of the commercial divide, with sophisticated recordings and raw, raucous live performances. 2006-2014. In 2006, King went on a farewell world tour, although he remained active afterward. The tour was partly supported by Northern Irish guitarist Gary Moore, with whom King had previously toured and recorded. It started in the United Kingdom, and continued with performances at the Montreux Jazz Festival, and in Zurich at the Blues at Sunset. During his show in Montreux, at the Stravinsky Hall, he jammed with Joe Sample, Randy Crawford, David Sanborn, Gladys Knight, Leela James, Andre Beaker, Earl Thomas, Stanley Clarke, John McLaughlin, Barbara Hendricks, and George Duke. In June 2006, King was present at a memorial of his first radio broadcast at the Three Juices building in Greenwood, Mississippi, where the Mississippi Blues Commission erected an official marker as part of the Mississippi Blues Trail. The same month, a groundbreaking was held for a new museum, dedicated to him, in Indianola, Mississippi. The bbking Museum and Delta Interpretive Center opened on the 13th of September 2008. In late October 2006, King recorded a concert album and video entitled BB King, live at his BB King Blues clubs in Nashville and Memphis. The video of the 4-night production featured his regular band and captured his shows as he performed them nightly around the world. Released in 2008, they were his first performances in over a decade to be documented with a live album release. In 2007, King played at Eric Clapton's second Crossroads Guitar Festival, and contributed the songs Going Home, to Going Home, a tribute to Fats Domino, with Ivan Neville's Dumpster Funk, and One Shoe Blues to Sandra Boynton's children's album Blue Moo, accompanied by a pair of sock puppets in a music video for the song. In the summer of 2008, King played at the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival in Manchester, Tennessee, where he was given a key to the city. Later that year, he was inducted into the Hollywood Bowl Hall of Fame. He performed at the Mawazin Festival in Rabat, Morocco on the 27th of May 2010. In June 2010, he played at the Crossroads Guitar Festival with Robert Cray, Jimmy Vaughan, and Eric Clapton. He also contributed to Cyndi Lauper's album Memphis Blues, which was released on the 22nd of June 2010. In 2011, King played at the Glastonbury Music Festival, and in the Royal Albert Hall in London, where he recorded a concert video. Rolling Stone ranked him at number 6 on its 2011 list of the 100 greatest guitarists of all time. On the 21st of February 2012, King was among the performers of In Performance at the White House, Red, White, and Blues, during which President Barack Obama sang part of Sweet Home Chicago. King recorded for the debut album of rapper and producer Big K.R.I.T., who also hails from Mississippi. On the 5th of July, 2012, King performed a concert at the Byblos International Festival in Lebanon. On the 26th of May, 2013, he appeared at the New Orleans Jazz Festival. On the 3rd of October, 2014, after completing his live performance at the House of Blues in Chicago, a doctor diagnosed King with dehydration and exhaustion, and the 8 remaining shows of his ongoing tour had to be cancelled. King did not reschedule the shows, and the House of Blues show would be the last before he died in 2015. Equipment. When I sing, I play in my mind. The minute I stop singing orally, I start to sing by playing Lucille. King used equipment characteristic of the different periods he played in. He played guitars made by various manufacturers early in his career. He played a Fender Esquire on most of his recordings, with RPM records. Later, he was best known for playing variants of the Gibson S355. In the September edition 1995 of Vintage Guitar magazine, early photos show him playing a Gibson S5 through a Fender Tweed amp. In reference to the photo, King stated, "Yes, the old Fender amplifiers were the best that were ever made, in my opinion. They had a good sound, and they were durable. Guys would throw them in the truck, and they'd hold up. They had tubes, and they'd get real hot, but they just had a sound that is hard to put into words. The Fender Twin was great, but I have an old Lab Series amp that isn't being made anymore. I fell in love with it because its sound is right between the old Fender amps that we used to have and the Fender Twin. It's what I'm using tonight." He moved on from the larger Gibson hollow-bodied instruments which were prone to feedback when played at high volumes to various semi-hollow models, beginning first with the S335 and then on to a deluxe version called the S355, which used a stereo option. In 1980, Gibson Guitar Corporation launched the bbking Lucille model, an S355 with stereo options, a baritone selector, and fine tuners, neither of which he actually used, and, at King's direct request, no F-holes to further reduce feedback. In 2005, Gibson made a special run of 80 Gibson Lucilles, referred to as the 80th birthday Lucille, the first prototype of which they gave him as a birthday gift, and which he used thereafter. He used a Lab Series L5-212 combo amplifier, and used this amplifier for a long time. Norlin Industries made them for Gibson in the 1970s and 1980s. Other popular L5 users are Alan Holdsworth and Ty Tabor of King's X. The L5 has an onboard compressor, parametric equalization, and 4 inputs. King also used a Fender Twin reverb. He used his signature model strings Gibson SEGBBS bbking signature electric guitar strings with gauges 10, 13, 17P, 32W, 45W, 54W, and zentreya 351 MDSHLCX medium 0.71 mm, tortoise shell, celluloid picks. Blues clubs. In 1991, Beale Street developer John Elkington recruited King to open the original B.B. King's Blues Club in Memphis, and in 1994, they launched a second club at Universal City Walk in Los Angeles. A third club in New York City's Times Square opened in June 2000 but closed on the 29th of April 2018. Management is currently in the process of finding a new location in New York City. 2 more clubs opened, at Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut in January 2002, and in Nashville in 2003. Another club opened in Orlando in 2007. A club in West Palm Beach opened in the fall of 2009, and an additional one, based in the Mirage Hotel, Las Vegas, opened in the winter of 2009. Another opened in the New Orleans French Quarter in 2016. Television and other appearances. King made guest appearances on a number of popular television shows including The Cosby Show, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, The Young and the Restless, General Hospital, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Sesame Street, Married, with Children, Sanford and Son, and Touched by an Angel. From the mid-1980s until the mid-1990s, he appeared in several advertisements for McDonald's. In the early 2000s he also appeared in a campaign for Burger King. In 2000, the children's show Between the Lions featured a singing character named BB the King of Beasts based on him. bbking, The Life of Riley, a feature documentary about him narrated by Morgan Freeman, and directed by John Brewer, was released on the 15th of October 2012. His performance at the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival appears in the 2021 music documentary Summer of Soul. Personal life. King was married twice, to Martha Lee Denton, from November 1946 to 1952, and to Sue Carol Hall, from 1958 to 1966. He attributed their failure to the heavy demands of his 250 performances a year. It is said that he fathered 15 children with several women. After his death, 3 more have come forward, claiming him as their father. Though neither of his marriages produced children, biographer Charles Sawyer wrote that doctors found his sperm count too low to conceive children. King never disputed paternity of any of the 15 who claimed it, and by all accounts was generous in bankrolling college tuitions and establishing trust funds. In May 2016, the 11 surviving children initiated legal proceedings against his appointed trustee over his estimated $30 million to $40 million estate. Several of them also went public with the allegation that King's business manager, Laverne Toney, and his personal assistant, Myron Johnson, had fatally poisoned him. Autopsy results showed no evidence of poisoning. A defamation suit filed by Johnson against the accusing family members, including his own sister, Karen Williams, is pending. Other children have filed lawsuits targeting his music estate, which remains in dispute. King was an FAA-certified private pilot, and learned to fly in 1963 at what was then Chicago Hammond Airport in Lansing, Illinois. He frequently flew to gigs, but in 1995 his insurance company and manager asked him to fly only with another certified pilot. As a result, at around the age of 70, he stopped flying. King's favorite singer was Frank Sinatra. In his autobiography, he spoke about how he was a Sinatra nut, and how he went to bed every night listening to Sinatra's classic album, In the Wee Small Hours. During the 1960s, Sinatra had arranged for King to play at the main clubs in Las Vegas. He credited Sinatra for opening doors to black entertainers who were not given the chance to play in white-dominated venues. Philanthropy and notable campaigns. In September 1970, King recorded live in Cook County Jail during a time in which issues of racism and class in the prison system were prominent in politics. King also co-founded the Foundation for the Advancement of Inmate Rehabilitation and Recreation, tying in his support for prisoners and his interest in prison reform. In addition to prison reform, King also wanted to use prison performances as a way to preserve music and songs in a similar way that Alan Lomax did. In 2002, he signed on as an official supporter of Little Kids Rock, a non-profit organization that provides free musical instruments and instruction to children in underprivileged public schools throughout the United States. He sat on the organization's honorary board of directors. Diagnosed with diabetes in 1990, King was a high-profile spokesman in the fight against the disease. He appeared in several television commercials for One Touch Ultra, a blood glucose monitoring device, beginning in the early 2000s. American Idol contestant Crystal Bowersox, who was diagnosed with diabetes at age 6, would co-star with King in later commercials. Death and funeral. The last 8 shows of his 2014 tour were cancelled because of health problems caused by complications from high blood pressure and diabetes. On the 14th of May, 2015, at the age of 89, he died in his sleep from vascular dementia caused by a series of small strokes as a consequence of his type 2 diabetes. 2 of his daughters alleged that he was deliberately poisoned by 2 associates trying to induce diabetic shock. An autopsy showed no evidence of that. His body was flown to Memphis on the 27th of May, 2015. A funeral procession went down Beale Street, with a brass band marching in front of the hearse, while playing When the Saints Go Marching in Thousands lined the streets to pay their last respects. His body was then driven down Route 61 to his hometown of Indianola, Mississippi. He was laid in repose at the bbking Museum and Delta Interpretive Center in Indianola so people could view his open casket. The funeral took place at the Belle Grove Missionary Baptist Church in Indianola on the 30th of May. He was buried at the bbking Museum. Discography. Studio albums. Singin' the Blues, 1957. The Blues, 1958. B.B. King Wales, 1959. King of the Blues, 1960. Sings Spirituals, 1960. The Great B.B. King, 1960. My Kind of Blues, 1961. Blues for Me, 1961. Blues in My Heart, 1962. Easy Listening Blues, 1962. B.B. King, 1963. Mr. Blues, 1963. Confessin' the Blues, 1966. Blues on Top of Blues, 1968. Lucille, 1968. Live and Well, 1969. Completely Well, 1969. Indianola, Mississippi Seeds, 1970. B.B. King in London, 1971. L.A. Midnight, 1972. Guess Who, 1972. To Know You Is to Love You, 1973. Lucille Talks Back, 1975. King Size, 1977. Midnight Believer, 1978. Take It Home, 1979. There Must Be a Better World Somewhere, 1981. Love Me Tender, 1982. Blues and Jazz, 1983. Six Silver Strings, 1985. King of the Blues, 1989, 1988. There Is Always One More Time, 1991. Blues Summit, 1993. Lucille and Friends, 1995. Juices Wild, 1997. Blues on the Bayou, 1998. Let the Good Times Roll, 1999. Markin' Love Is Good for You, 2000. Riding with the King, 2000, with Eric Clapton. A Christmas Celebration of Hope, 2001. Reflections, 2003. B.B. King and Friends, 80, 2005. One Kind Favor, 2008. Accolades. Awards and nominations. Grammy Awards. 1970 Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. The Thrill Is Gone. 1. 1981 Best R&B Instrumental Performance. When I'm Wrong. Nominated. 1982 Best Ethnic or Traditional Recording, There Must Be a Better World Somewhere. 1. 1983 Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals. Street Life. Nominated. 1984 Best Traditional Blues Recording. Blues and Jazz. 1. 1986 My Guitar Sings the Blues. 1. 1991 Live at San Quentin. 1. 1991 Best Country Collaboration with Vocals. Waiting on the Light to Change. Nominated. 1992 Best Traditional Blues Album. Live at the Apollo. 1. 1994 Blues Summit. 1. 1995 Best Country Collaboration with Vocals. Patches. Nominated. 1997 Best Rock Instrumental Performance. SRV Shuffle. 1. 1999 Best Contemporary Blues Album. Juice's Wild. Nominated. 2000 Best Traditional Blues Album. Blues on the Bayou. 1. 2001 Best Traditional Blues Album. Riding with the King. 1. 2001 Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals. Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. 1. 2003 Best Traditional Blues Album. A Christmas Celebration of Hope. 1. 2003 Best Pop Instrumental Performance. Auld Lang Syne. 1. 2005 Best Traditional R&B Performance. Sinner's Prayer with Ray Charles. Nominated. 2006 Best Traditional Blues Album. bbking and Friends, 80. 1. 2009 Best Traditional Blues Album. One Kind Favor. 1. Other awards. 1995 Country Music Association. Album of the Year. Rhythm, Country, and Blues Patches with George Jones. Nominated. 2002 NAACP Image Awards. Outstanding Performance in a Youth, Children's Series or Special. Sesame Street. Nominated. Additional Honors. Honorary Doctorate of Humanities from Tougaloo College 1973. Honorary Doctor of Music by Yale University 1977. Inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame 1980. Honorary Doctorate of Music from Berkeley College of Music 1985. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 1987. Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award 1987. The National Medal of Arts 1990. The National Heritage Fellowship from the NEA 1991. The Kennedy Center Honors given to recognize the lifelong accomplishments and extraordinary talents of our nation's most prestigious artists 1995. Grammy Hall of Fame Award for The Thrill Is Gone. Given to recordings that are at least 25 years old, and that have qualitative or historical significance 1998. The Library of Congress awarded him the Living Legend Medal for his lifetime of contributions to America's diverse cultural heritage 2000. The Royal Swedish Academy of Music awarded him the Polar Music Prize for his significant contributions to the blues 2004. The Golden Plate Award of the American Academy of Achievement 2004. The Presidential Medal of Freedom awarded by President George W. Bush on the 15th of December 2006. An Honorary Doctorate in Music by Brown University 2007. The Keys to the City of Portland, Maine 2008. A Mississippi Blues Trail marker was added for King to commemorate his birthplace 2008. Time named King number 3 on its list of the 10 best electric guitarists 2009. King was awarded the MMP Music Award and inducted into the MMP Hall of Fame by the Mississippi Music Project 2018. A Google Doodle celebrated what would have been King's 94th birthday 2019. A King Homecoming Festival is held in Indianola, Mississippi during the first week in June every year. Rolling Stone named King the 8th greatest guitarist of all time in 2023. King is featured as one of the musicians in Mississippi's Rose Parade Float for 2025.